Welcome back to Chalk Talk. Good to have everybody back recording another episode, and we got a lot to go over today. We have a lot of discussions to go over. We're gonna start out with the Packers lost to the Bucks. It's plenty of blame to go around. Aaron Rodgers had an interesting post conference after the fact, probably most likely saying that he might leave Green Bay. The speculations have started, but who's truly to blame for the loss of the Green Bay Packers against the Bucks? Sam, what you think?
I truly think this is on the defense. The defense, the corners, Kevin King to be exact. Kevin King gave up what? Mike Evans, Scotty Miller at the end of the half. That was the momentum killer. The end of the half, Scotty Miller, they was getting stops. Then
Cutting out,
You
Sam.
can hear, yeah, you cut out.
I well,
All
I
right,
just I'll
all
just
right, go ahead.
piggyback with Sam and saying, yeah, I only see one thing wrong with this, and that's Kevin King. He just seemed like when he was out there, he was losing track of the receivers. Like when Mike Evans got behind him and scored early in the first quarter, he jumped up for the ball like he was on the man, in which he wasn't. And the same thing with Scotty Miller. He let him get even and he left him. You know what I'm saying? He underestimated his speed. He let him get behind him, and that is a big difference in the game. That was a 14-10 game heading into halftime, and simply off of him, it was a 21-10 game. All the momentum swinging in Tom Brady and the Buccaneers' favor. But another reason for the loss is I kind of blame Matt LaFleur. I see what he was thinking, kicking the field goal, but I say you only make that decision if the field goal puts you within 3 points, because regardless of the field goal or not, they still want to come down there and score another touchdown. So I think you just go out there, you let Aaron Rodgers do it, because at the end of the day, if you did kick that field goal, you went forward on fourth down and didn't score, you still gonna have to score a touchdown regardless with the field goal or not. So I feel like he should have left Aaron Rodgers on the field on fourth down, and I feel like he's one of the great first ballot Hall of Fame. You got to put trust in your quarterback.
Yeah, y'all make some really good points about, like you said, Kevin King. He was burnt toast most of that game. But this is probably not the way most people will go to who's to blame for this game, but on the stat sheet, he looked like he had a tremendous game. He played from top to bottom. He played all through 4 quarters of football and played great. But for my personal blame is Aaron Rodgers. Like Ashton said, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. Despite passing for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, he had the jump to Alan Lazard that he just completely whiffed. Instead, he threw it to Devontae Adams instead of taking the easy touchdown. And then he had the jump at the end of that to, like Ashton said, the field goal. But the field goal he wouldn't have had to make that choice if Aaron Rodgers would have ran that in. If he runs it in, even if he doesn't score the touchdown, he gets at least 5 yards there, and he has no choice but to go for it, because it'll be a fourth and goal from the 3. My biggest issue with when people don't blame Aaron Rodgers for this, and like Sam said, the defense was to blame. And through the first half, I agree. I think that defense came out and just completely whiffed, but they had three interceptions in that second half, and that's kind of hard to do when you're going against Tom Brady. But when you only score off one of those possessions and you go 3 and out, two of those times on those interceptions, that's not you can't have that when you're Aaron Rodgers and you're in a title game to go to the Super Bowl. You got to capitalize off those opportunities. You have to score touchdowns, because you're not going to beat Brady and the Bucks with field goals. And he didn't, and that's why they lost, in my opinion. DJ, what you think?
Hold on, before DJ go, but like you said, with the Allen Lazard touchdown, it's like it was either or. Like that time, he went to Devontae Adams when Lazard was wide open, but a play in the second half where they had a free play, Devontae Adams was wide open for a touchdown, and he decided to the ball to Lazard. So he did make some wrong decision in that game. Like you said, you can't shift the blame all to him, but he has to take responsibility, because I know nobody on that team wanted more than him. He's late in his career. He doesn't have that many opportunities to get back to the Super Bowl. So this was his time, and he completely made some wrong decisions in this game.
DJ, if you don't mind, I'm gonna say one more thing before you go.
Go
I
ahead.
was watching one of the shows this week, and Aaron Rodgers. They said Aaron Rodgers did one of the smartest things that he could have done. Aaron Rodgers knew he was to blame for that loss, and he knew if he didn't say, "I don't know, my future in Green Bay is uncertain." He knew the media would eat it alive. He knew the media would love every part of it. And as you've seen, probably many times, people are photoshopping him to their teams and things like that. Instead of people talking about how he didn't score on that third down, how he missed many open receivers, I don't think I've heard that much this week. And I think that goes to him in that press conference deferring the blame, not really deferring the blame, but saying his future in Green Bay is uncertain. So I think he knew what should have came, but he's old enough and he's been in this league long enough to understand what he did. Go ahead, DJ.
But I agree with what Ashton was saying. I believe you put the blame on Matt LaFleur. You go out there. I understand he wants a field goal. You got the timeouts. You got enough time to get it stopped. But defense wasn't playing good the whole day. I would put more. You put faith in the vet than you do in your defense at that point. You put your faith in Aaron Rodgers to go down there and score, put you up, and put you in a good position instead of the defense who's been playing bad all day, hasn't really been having that much like that. I don't even know if A-Rod was even considered in the conversation for what he should do. Like I don't even think Matt LaFleur. I think he just decided that himself. He was like field goal. He didn't even ask A-Rod, the Super Bowl champ, if you want to go out here and score, or you want to go out here, get a field goal, and put trust in the defense. And I bet you A-Rod probably would have said, we go out here, we score, win a football game. But yeah, like what you said, Keith, A-Rod did kind of have bad games, but that right there was a controversial call that Matt LaFleur made. And if he made it in his own decision, then I believe the blame should be put on him.
Yeah, I agree with you. You definitely have to consider, like not even consider, like you have to go to A-Rod in that type of in that type of time. You have to ask him, what do you think we should do here? Like A-Rod's been in this league. A-Rod has a Super Bowl under his belt. He knows what you should do in this situation. You put the ball in his hands, despite how, I mean, he wasn't playing bad, but despite the minor mistakes, but you definitely put that ball in his hands down 31-23, and you let A-Rod win this game. And for real, I don't like, it was a 2-point conversion that they had earlier I think it was a couple drives before, where the receiver completely dropped it. I think it was St. Brown that dropped it.
Iman saying his brother about to come in the league next year.
Yeah. But you got to catch that. Like it hit your hands and you dropped it. You catch that, they're down 6, and then I guarantee you, for like Ashley said, it would be the conversation, like you said, 3-3. Like if you kick the field goal, you're only down 3 instead of the 4. But I don't know. It goes down. Sam, you got any other input? I know you got cut out. Well, what else you think about it?
Nah, y'all basically said everything.
All right. So we gonna jump to the AFC side. Despite losing to the Chiefs, it was. I'm not gonna say as far as to say it was a good game. It was one-sided majority of the game, besides like the first couple minutes. But are the Bills a Super Bowl contender next year? Like, do they have the pieces and things? What you think, Ashton?
I think they hit their limit right here. See, I feel like as long as Pat Mahomes is on the AFC side, I don't see them beating them. Honestly, this is a great young team, but it's a lot of teams that hasn't reached their full potential because of one player like the Tom Brady or something. I think that Pat Mahomes is that Tom Brady. He's going to stop a lot of people from getting the Super Bowl on the AFC side. But other than that, this is a young team. I think in the draft, the one thing that they could improve on is replacing Josh Norman. He didn't play that bad, but if in the AFC, if you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you need to have young, fast corners, and Josh Norman is an old, slow corner. So I feel like they could replace him or add a pass rusher to put more pressure on the Pat Mahomes. Because I felt like he was doing whatever he wanted back there. He had a good QBR, 300 yards, no interceptions. So I think they need to cause some confusion for Pat Mahomes if they think they have any chance to get to the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, Kyle Brandt, he's probably, you could say, the leader of the Bills Mafia. He's on Good Morning Football, big Bills fan, but he said the Bills shouldn't, like, they should be happy about the loss. And I mean, you never like to lose, but this was one of those times where it was like, I think this loss helps them because the Bills, honestly, I can say this, they scare me. Like, they have their quarterback, they have the receivers, like their team is set, and they're only going to add and they're just going to continue to get better and better with their chemistry and things like that. But now you know, like the Bills, it goes Chiefs Bills in my opinion for the rankings in the AFC. Like those are the top two teams. So they know what they have to do. Your job from now on is to build your team to beat Patrick Mahomes. That's your goal. Your goal is to like Ashton focused on going against Patrick Mahomes, him being the Tom Brady of the AFC, and I agree with him. You're like you're not building around to beat anybody else. Patrick Mahomes, without a doubt, will be in the Super Bowl many, many more times. And he's gonna be the guy to beat in the AFC. So you're gonna have to build another more pieces on that defense. Cole Beasley and John Brown are older receivers. They're not gonna last but so long. So like Ashley said, there's guys you can build through. I'm not gonna say first round, but second round, third round. Add to your offense. Add to your receivers. You've got guys like John Brown and Cole Beasley who are veterans who can teach the younger guys. Even Stephon Diggs, who has taken over that wide receiver one role, and he can give them some advice on what he's done. Because Stephon Diggs was like a fifth, sixth round pick. So he wasn't expected to be the wide receiver one guy he is today. So yeah, I just think their goal right now should be to build to beat Patrick Mahomes. What do you think, DJ?
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all completely. Young team, you got franchise quarterback, franchise receiver, you got good corner, Tre'Davious White, good O line. The team is set. They just really, like you said, they got built to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got to get the corners to be able to keep up with Tyreek Hill, Miko Hardman, be able to stop Travis Kelce. And I mean, the Bills, they're not broke. They have money. They could potentially pick up some free agents. But in my opinion, I just think the Chiefs are just going to run. Like the AFC is just going to be. They're like I said, they're the new Patriots. They're the dynasty of the AFC that's always going to go to the Super Bowl. Like they're just going not run through the AFC, but they're going to take over. Basically, what I'm saying. But
Definitely AFC Championship game area.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go far in the playoffs area. I don't see no first, second round exit. But the Bills. No, I could potentially see the Bills being a team to always be in the AFC Championship against them in the next couple of years. But that's really it. Y'all basically said everything.
Yeah, they're gonna be like what can I compare it to? Like the Patriots and the Ravens. Those two teams are already in the AFC Championship game, so they might get them sometimes, might not, or maybe the Patriots and Broncos.
Call them the Packers. The A-Rod 1-5 in NFC Championship games, and you'd always get there, but you ain't gonna win them. What do you think, Sam?
You guys are right. The Bills can make it to the Super Bowl. I think if the Chiefs, the best chance of the Chiefs losing is them beating themselves. If they beat themselves, like don't throw the ball enough or don't run the ball enough, they could lose the game. And the defense that they go against, it really determines. I mean, the Bills' defense was solid, but if you have a Travis Kelce, they gave up the most yards against the tight ends this year. You know what I'm saying? They have to be able to stop that if you want to beat the Chiefs. You have to stop Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill if you want to beat the Chiefs. And that's what they didn't. They let both of them go. They let both of them go off. And, I think if the Chiefs run into a solid defense, I think, and face some pressure, I think they will fold, in my opinion. I don't think they'll be in the Super Bowl a lot, like y'all said.
Yeah. I'll cap this conversation off one more thing, but I think the main reason for like all season long, people doubted. People said Stephon Diggs was the problem. He was a problem in Minnesota, and he came over to Buffalo and just had the best relationship with Josh Allen. And in my opinion, Josh Allen is, if not one of the best gifted physically quarterback there is in the NFL. Because you got to look at it. This guy, I think he stands at like a 6'5" frame. He's a very solid guy. And Josh Allen isn't like him and Mahomes have the best arm in the league. Accuracy out of it, they can throw the farthest. So I just think that helps you. Like a lot of quarterbacks can limit, like you put Tyreek Hill on some other teams and his route tree is limited a little bit, but like you can't limit a guy whose quarterback can throw 70 yards flat-footed. Like that's just something, like I just think they with them having that type of resource at quarterback, that helps them a lot going for the future. But speaking of quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson he officially requested a trade a couple days ago. He was rumored to do it, and he actually finally did it. Although despite the GM saying today that they think that they have no intentions of trading Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson 9 times out of 10 is going to get traded, and he has a no trade clause to where he can basically demand where he goes, or he picks where he goes. DJ, I'm gonna let you start off with this one. Where do you think Deshaun Watson is going to end up? Where do you think he wants to go?
I would love him to come to Washington, but I feel that San Francisco would be the best fit for him. Honestly, go over there. You got George Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel at receiver. You got Mostert in the backfield. You got a good O-line, a good defense, very young defense. That team is just built completely. They're just missing the quarterback, and Deshaun Watson, and he would fit good. I feel as if San Fran got enough trade value to be able to move some stuff to get him. But I feel that'd be the best place for him to go.
I'll piggyback off that. I don't know who Ashton and Sam got, but I said the 49ers too, but not for the reason DJ did. I mean, they have the weapons, the defense. Everybody's coming back off an injury from last year. But I think the main reason he should go there, one, he's a California kid. Not a California kid, but a warm weather kid, and he's always been a warm weather. But I think it's because of Kyle Shanahan. He is without a doubt a top 5, top 10 head coach in this league, and he's so young-minded, and he's not going nowhere anytime soon. So he has the coaching stability. That relationship can gel and bond. Although they lost Saleh and the running backs coach, I still think everybody under there is still under the Kyle Shanahan tree, and that team is gonna benefit off of having a young head coach, all the weapons, and then a top 5 quarterback at that. I think that team will easily, with the addition of Deshaun Watson, is the Super Bowl favorite next year. Sam, what you think? Where he's gonna go?
I would piggyback and say 49ers, but I think Carolina. Carolina is a great place for Deshaun Watson. Carolina is a family-oriented, state, country. I mean, not country. Not country. State. They love family down there. And I think Deshaun Watson will help the community a lot too. He will help out with kids like he did in Texas, and I think that's a great fit for him, including the weapons that he has. CMC, a decent. It's not great O-line, but they could build and get pieces for the O-line. Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. I think he has everything he needs on offense, and they have a young defense. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, and a top 10 pick, but they probably will have to get that up. But Deshaun, I think that's a great fit for Deshaun Watson.
I got three landing spots for him. I got either the Patriots, Niners, or Washington. Washington has a lot of money in cap. Now, I'm not even saying it just because I'm a Washington fan. Like, if you really look at it, Washington is a good spot for him to go if you really think about it. They're similar to the 49ers, how y'all said. A great defensive line, great defense, solid weapons at receiver, and a decent O-line. So I feel like he can really come into Washington and take this team to the next level. That's the only piece of the puzzle that we're missing right now is a quarterback. I say the Patriots because you have a connection with a great head coach. I don't see the weapons as they have in other teams, but I feel like the Patriots will be a good fit for him money-wise and because he's going to be in there with Bill Belichick. And Deshaun Watson's going to be a playmaker wherever he goes. And lastly, the Niners because the same reason y'all said, I'm not going to repeat myself twice. But I would like to comment on what Sam said. The Carolina Panthers wouldn't be a bad spot for him either. This team kind of reminds me of the Bucs with their receiving core, a great running back, and just a young and proven defense. So, yeah, any spot for Deshaun Watson would be good. He'll be a great fit anywhere he goes.
Yeah, I honestly, I leave it in the back of my head knowing that it could possibly become a reality. But Deshaun Watson coming to to the football team would easily make them a Super Bowl contender. Like you, especially with money wise, with how they have Terry McLaurin, and then without a doubt, Allen Robinson. I think if Deshaun Watson went to the football team, that would probably be his number one place to go. So then you have two top receiving threats. You wouldn't have to worry about like Logan Thomas was an emerging tight end coming into last year. You got the O line. You can work on that later rounds in the draft and free agency because y'all have so much money. I don't want it to happen, but if that did happen, that would easily make them a Super Bowl favorite. I honestly think wherever he goes, he'll make that team a Super Bowl contender just based off the places that he said he wants to go and that he plans on going. But speaking of free agent quarterbacks, Matt Stafford and Detroit are parting ways after a long time. They've been together quite a while. Detroit looks to be coming to a bit of a rebuild, starting over a little bit, which is completely understandable because, Detroit, they just haven't been good in years. But Matthew Stafford hasn't really demanded where he wants to go, and he doesn't really hold the amount of weight that Deshaun Watson does. Still a very talented quarterback. Ashton, I'm going to let you start off with this one. What's the best landing spot and where you think he's going to go?
The best landing spot? He's another thing like Deshaun Watson. I mean, I feel like he's going to be good wherever he goes. He's a very underrated quarterback. Like, he started his career off injured, and his first real full season, this guy threw for 5,000 yards. I feel like he get overshadowed by the bad team that he's on. He had the defense that's not been helping him out. So another good landing spot for him will be Washington. If they couldn't pull in Watson, they can go. And, I mean, I feel like they would have to give up a lot to get Deshaun Watson. I feel like it wouldn't be bad to give up less and get Matthew Stafford, who's a veteran quarterback. He kind of fits the Washington system. And, yeah, he could get the ball down the field. That's all we need is a quarterback to get the ball down the field. If you look at our games, we always start off so slow. We might not put up points. I think we was the worst team for first drive. We didn't score on our first drive until towards the end of the season. So we just need to score early and often and help the defense out. So Washington wouldn't be a bad landing spot for him. Or, I mean, I'm not going to repeat myself. I mean, the Patriots and the Niners will also be a great spot for him.
I agree. I'll defer away from Washington real quick, but I think honestly the best place for him to go would be Indianapolis because Stafford had he was like you said, he was overshadowed by how bad Detroit has been lately. Like that team just is never in contention. Like you see Trubisky was able to take the Bears to the playoffs, but that was mainly because of the defense. Like he just has never had the help. And if you go to Indianapolis, Reich is a good coach. The defense was number 1 in the league last year. And then you got young receivers. People forget about this guy, but Paris Campbell, he's going to be a good slot receiver, fast guy. You got Pittman and Pascal, and they still, I think they're like top 3 in cap space. So they can bring him the weapons offensively. And then you got Quentin Nelson. So they have like one of the best O-lines in the league. But how, by any chance, do y'all know do y'all know how old Heineke is?
It's probably like 27, 28.
I can look it up real quick.
Look it up for me, because what I would say is like Heineke being
27. 27.
Okay. Now, I mean, Stafford has a good 3, 4, 5 more years left in the league. So I don't know if this route would be how realistic it would be, but I think if he did end up coming to Washington, he would be a good veteran. Like Heineke, based off of what I saw in that one game, he looked elite, in my opinion. He looked like a guy who could be good and who could be a good quarterback. And the way him and Stafford are similar playing styles, in my opinion. They can sling the ball, but they also can just sit in a pile and they can sit in the pocket and they can get out when they need to. But if Stafford comes to Washington and he can develop Heineke, sit him behind, because Heineke's never had nobody really to sit behind, or he's never had the chance. But even if he doesn't get this chance and he gets to sit behind Stafford, when Stafford does end up either parting ways with Washington or retiring, I think Heineke would be a good guy to come behind him who would show some bright spots. Sam, where do you think he should go?
I mean, yeah, that would be the best. I mean, I don't know. If the Dolphins, I don't know. I think Washington. I go Washington because they could surround him with pieces, like the coach. Nah, I'm switching the Colts. Uh, only reason why I say the Colts at first because I didn't want to they just had Phillip Rivers and then follow that up with Matthew Stafford. The Colts where's our franchise QB, like our future QB? Like I know the fans wanted like a future down the road, a solid young QB, but Matthew Stafford could come in a win down situation. They just made it to the playoffs, with Phillip Rivers at quarterback. Phillip Rivers not a bad quarterback, don't get me wrong, but Matthew Stafford is better than Phillip Rivers, throwing wise and IQ wise. And yeah, O-line, their O-line's good, receiver core good, they have money. I think that would be the best situation for Matthew Stafford to walk in.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of places all these people can go, but in the end, they want to make it to the Super Bowl. So we're gonna head on to that conversation. Bucks,
Whoa,
Chiefs.
whoa.
Oh, you didn't go?
Let me get my team real quick.
Oh,
Soccer team. I'm gonna just say it. The Saints. They trade Saints. I understand Saints don't have any money, but you put a trade for them, might free up a little bit of cap. You got Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and what's that young brother's name?
Smith.
I don't know.
Smith.
Yeah. And then you got solid O-line over there. Your defense is good. And you basically just replaced Drew Brees with another great quarterback. And now he has real weapons who can stay healthy, unlike Kenny Galladay. And you have a better team, and you have a great head coach in Sean Payton. So I feel like that would be a great fit for him, and especially since the Saints don't really have enough cap space to pick up a quarterback in free agency. They could just trade for him and free up some cap in the trade.
Who's the guy the Saints picked up, traded with the Bucks in the middle of the season? The linebacker.
Oh, they traded with the Niners, Quan Alexander.
Oh, that was the Niners. My fault. Quan Alexander. Yeah, it's a lot of ways they can free up cap space.
I think he's a free agent though. Coming in. I think he's a free agent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let him go. That's a lot of cap. He's probably like $10 million. I know he got paid. So it's a lot of ways this team could clear up money. I feel like they can make a way for Matthew Stafford. I don't think he should.
Yeah.
He's not gonna ask for Watson money. He's like didn't really do anything in his career. He has the stats, but he doesn't have the name. You know what I'm saying? To ask for that much money. So it's many ways. Yeah, it's many ways the Saints team could clear up some cap space to bring in Matthew Stafford. So that's a good decision, DJ.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I didn't think of that at all because once you think I think they're over like $100 million over the cap, but there is many ways they can free up, and they can free up in a trade, which will help. I apologize, DJ, I missed you, but we're gonna say who y'all got going against Bucks and Chiefs. Like, who you think? Like, this is probably the greatest game. Tony Romo called it back when they played a couple weeks ago, and nobody at the beginning of the season thought Tom Brady had it in him to go back to the Super Bowl with a new team and a new conference, but he did it. Who you got in the Super Bowl, Sam? Bucks, Chiefs.
Come on, man. You should know. Mahomes in that offense is just, bro, it's just something special, bro. And everybody, a lot of people know about their offensive coordinator, but he don't get enough credit to me. His play calling and situational football is amazing. It's something like the Alabama offensive coordinator. Like, them two guys are great offensive minded, and him with Andy Reid is just unstoppable. So I think that Chiefs offense is just too much for anybody to handle right now. So yeah, I go with the Chiefs.
Ashton, who you got?
This is probably gonna be one of the best Super Bowl matchups that we've seen in a minute. You got Tom Brady, the GOAT, 6-time champion, best quarterback ever. Then you got the baby GOAT, who's probably gonna be the only quarterback who has a chance of surpassing Tom Brady. So I don't think we can ask for a better Super Bowl matchup. When we talk about where I'm going in this matchup, I still don't even know myself. If you really think about it, the Chiefs are, like Sam said, great offense. Had 30 plus points in 10 games this season. They have Tyreek Hill, one of the best tight ends all time, Travis Kelce. But when you look at the Bucks, they also have a very great roster. Has some fast corners who I feel like can match up. Jamel Dean, a young corner, he's very fast. You got it depends if they get Whitefield back, but they have a good secondary, good safeties, good pass rush. They kind of are like the 49ers from last year, but with a better offense. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they could put up more points than the 49ers can. But one struggle that they might have is if the Chiefs find a way to get pressure on Tom Brady. Last week, he made some real questionable decisions, just heaving the ball in the air, turn the ball over. I feel like you can't turn the ball over against this team. So it comes down to, can Tom Brady play a smart game, and can the Buccaneers defense match up with this great offense? But giving you an answer, I'm sorry, I can't give you one. I don't know who I'm going with myself. I'm gonna have to come down with that next week.
I'll go. I'll piggyback off you. We did that.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I think you gotta go with the Chiefs, and I understand they beat them earlier in the season, but they do got some really great corners, Ashton. But Tyreek Hill had 7 catches for 200 yards, and I think it was like in the first quarter. I know they've had time to see him, but it's no practicing for that amount of speed. I think a big part of that Chiefs defense that is looked over is Snead, their 4th round corner that they got. He has a sack in like the last 4 games. And I think that's not going to let up. I think he's going to continue that streak and get Tom Brady. But they just find different ways to bring in pressure. But you also got to look at Frank Clark and Chris Jones. That's a front. Those are guys up front who can torture. Now, I'm going to go back to the Giants Super Bowls. The one way you beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl is you got to keep him frustrated. You have to have him on the sidelines with that gully look and like he's not happy to be out there. And the way you do that is a pass rush. Tom Brady's not worried about throwing interceptions, but if he doesn't even have the time in the pocket, he will get frustrated. And I think the Chiefs are the team. They can do that. And then Tyrann Mathieu and just hovering up in secondary. I think the Chiefs have, I'm not going to say they have the edge because these are 2 extremely well rosters, well built. And I think like Sam said, Bieniemy, it's just amazing to me how he is yet to get a head coaching job with the amount of like the ability he has with the play calling. Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, everybody's vouching for him. And it's ridiculous. Nate Burleson brung it up on Good Morning Football. Ashton, you did too. You just didn't say it. But Tom Brady is the GOAT. We all understand this. And like you said, a baby goat is actually called a kid. So it's called the GOAT versus the kid. And this game is going to, like Ashton said, it's hard to choose who you want. But this game is going to be great. Who you got, DJ?
Hold on. Before DJ make his pick, Patrick Mahomes, he runs a lot, and I think that's going to be a big part of this game. I think Patrick Mahomes running the ball too. They don't have – they have linebackers that definitely could outrun Mahomes, but they need him in pass coverage because Travis Kelce, because all those weapons that he have, they need them.
We're going to switch over to DJ.
Go ahead, DJ.
I want to go with Tom Brady. See him get the 7, but I think it's the Patrick Mahomes era in football now. Like I think it's now his time. He won one last year. He's hungry. He wants to. I think he's chasing Brady for 6, and this win right here will really push him even more to want to catch up to Brady. Beating Brady in the Super Bowl to stop him from getting 7. There's 3 people who beat Brady in the Super Bowl: Nick Foles and Eli Manning. So, and I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes wants to add his name to that list. So, but yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs all the way. I don't know. I want to see Brady get 7. I want to see Mike Evans get a ring, but I gotta go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs
blitz a lot.
The Chiefs, Chiefs blitz a
Brown
lot, and the Bucks play a lot of man. You can't play man against his defense, his offense.
Oh yeah, they do play a lot of man. Sam definitely did point that out last week. But what's Antonio Brown health status this week going into the Super Bowl?
To be honest, I'm not sure. He had a knee injury, so I know the Bucks are a bit injured, but I'm not sure. I'll get back to you on that.
Another question I had. another question I have is what's wrong with Le'Veon Bell? Why isn't he getting the touches? Do y'all have any thing to say about that?
In my opinion, it's a good thing. Like I know it's people are glad he's back in the Super Bowl because all the drama, but Darwin Thompson has been outplaying both Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell in that backfield. And like I said this a couple episodes back, during the playoffs, you're always going to need that one guy who's got to step up. And for the Chiefs, he's been that guy who stepped up. Once he comes in, he averages at least like 5-6 yards to carry, and he's picking up and he's finding the hole, and he's running. And in my opinion, he's the one. He's the reason that he hasn't gotten any touches, and he should be the starter going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's not about a name. It's all about who's hot. This is the Super Bowl.
Just like Damian Williams last year.
Yeah.
You got to ride the hot hand. But we're gonna next year. I think a lot. It's very early to tell, and you can't really predict. Very early to tell. We're still in the previous season. A lot goes off season draft. But who's your early predictions for the Super Bowl next year? I'm gonna let you say who you got, DJ.
No, I got depending on how the off season goes. Well, I mean, of course, Chiefs. I'm not even about to say watch the football team, but
okay.
But good job, DJ.
I got the Chiefs in the AFC, and I got A-Rod going for vengeance. He just came off one of his best seasons. I got him being hot again next year, potentially going back to the Super Bowl, beating Tom Brady this time if he goes back to the championship. But I got Packers Chiefs next year.
Sam?
No, I'm gonna let Ashton go.
On the AFC, yeah, I mean, I don't think Lamar can get it done in the playoffs. I think the Bills are a couple more years away from beating the Chiefs, so I have the Chiefs back in there for the AFC. And for the NFC, if Carolina could find a way to get a good quarterback, like Sam said, you have C-Mac. I'm not saying that's my answer, but that's a very good candidate with that receiving core and a running back. They find a way to get a good quarterback. You could possibly see Carolina in there. I mean, the obvious answer, if Deshaun Watson finds a way to land in Washington, that team will be in the Super Bowl. But I think the Saints are out of competition. But y'all just want me to give y'all a straight answer. Give me next year's Super Bowl. This is a hard one. But give me Chiefs and the Cowboys.
No, I'm
for real though. Look,
no way.
You get Dak Prescott back.
Hey, on God, look, that's my answer. On Jesus Christ, that's my answer.
And then you get him started. Oh,
listen. I hate the Cowboys with all my heart, but you get that offensive line. Well, no, I'm gonna let Sam talk this stuff about his team.
Nah, I was just saying that's my answer, but Dak is the key factor. He's back. Come on, we all know he was in at least in the conversation for MVP where he was playing. But the O-line, add some key pieces in the draft to the D-line and the defense, and we straight. A new defensive coordinator. We
PS2?
And PS2, Jalen Phillips, like you said, that edge rusher in your jump. Jalen Phillips, we could get him in the second round. We straight.
I definitely gotta be next to Sam on draft night when Denver picks Patrick Surtain at 9. I just want to see his face. That's just gonna be one funny moment.
Caleb Farley ain't bad either, so we ain't tripping.
He's a raw prospect, but I'll go ahead and say mine. I think the Bills do overcome that Mahomes. I don't think he's gonna get the three-peat, and I think the Bills. I got the Bills in the AFC, and my number one, like I said, for Deshaun Watson, wherever he goes, he's gonna go to the Super Bowl, but I think he goes to the Niners and they get their defense back with that receiving core, George Kittle. I think they get a run back at it. And I think the Niners go to the Super Bowl. And I'd have the Niners winning that. I think they bring the Niners another ring. That's who I got in my Super Bowl. Anything y'all got to say about it?
Nah, the Cowboys supposed to go to the championship this year.
The Cowboys are supposed to go to the championship every year.
Even without Dak getting injured, they weren't going to the championship.
Not one bit.
Not the championship, but we was gonna win the division.
They was gonna win the division. They was gonna lose in the wild card because they definitely 1-4. They wasn't
first
playing
round exit. First round exit. That's what I hear.
You hitting that next year?
Well, I'm hearing that next year, the year after that, Dallas. Sam, until you are 30 and have a job, a well-known job where you're kicking your feet up, that'll be when you'll see a Dallas Super Bowl. Anytime soon.
Now listen. If we're gonna do our early Super Bowl prediction, let's do our early first and second picks. And I think next year the New York Giants will have the first overall pick, going 1-15. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's do both sides of it. You know, that's our early number one pick right there. The New
I
York
agree.
Giants.
He just said 1-15 though.
1-15.
They're gonna be Philly once.
Nah, I'm telling y'all, bro. Everybody sleeping on the NFC East, bro. We're gonna be some calm next year.
I know.
We're gonna be some comp, but the Giants will walk out of the division with easily 3+ wins. I'm telling you that now.
Wow.
The Giants will.
All the confidence you got
Against
the
who?
Giants, the New York Giants will win the NFC East next year. You can come back to this episode and you'll see by the time you come back. You don't believe me? Let me tell you why. We're gonna bring the offseason. We're gonna bring in the pieces. Water will be number 17 in blue next year. I'm not even worried about that. Daniel Jones will have that year 3 leap. I'm speaking it into existence. He will have that year 3 leap, and he will be a good quarterback and lead the Giants to the playoffs. I don't care. Mark my word.
Jones, bro.
This is the same guy who did like Daniel Jones.
Hey, I gotta have. Unless I get Watson, I have to have faith in my guy. I have to have faith in my guy.
Who said Andrew Thomas was one of a top 3 left tackle. Then the very next week, he was the worst person to put on a helmet. So you never know.
Andrew Thomas is the top 3 left tackle for the rookie class.
So what happened after that Arizona Cardinals game? No. You said he was a top 3 left tackle. You said he was a great.
I might have jazzed it a little bit.
No. But what did you say?
The top left.
What did you say after the Arizona Cardinals game?
Come on. Like what you want me to do? What did you say when y'all were, I think, what was it, 1-1 after y'all lost to Arizona? When y'all went like 2-7 or something. You were ready to call it quits, did you not? We all say something out of emotion. We all say something out of emotion.
I know you want to say Landon Collins. I've been saying Landon Collins was trash since he stepped on this. I call everything for my team. I said Landon Collins was trash. If Landon Collins, let me tell you this: we wouldn't have won the division if Landon Collins would have remained the starter. Cameron Curl came in and saved our season. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. And I've been saying, Fat Wayne, draft night. I was on the phone with Samuel Dudley Green, and I told him Fat Wayne was the worst quarterback to touch football. He's gonna be bad. He's gonna eat his way out of Washington.
I'm gonna call it now, and y'all can hate me for it. I don't know the schedule yet, but it's probably gonna come down to this. The division will come down to Week 17, New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys. Mark my word. 100%.
Bro, we're not gonna let that. We're not gonna put ourselves in that situation no more. It's
gonna come down to an 8:30 game in Washington on a Sunday night to determine the division. That's what I'm saying right there. Dallas and Washington.
This love for Dallas is getting on my nerves, but we're gonna end it there. It's been a good episode. It's been a good episode. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.